Ladies and gentlemen, our MC tonight, Mr. Dan Pastorini.
Thank you, Terry. I want to thank everyone for allowing me to come here tonight. Last year's MC was a dear friend of mine by the name of Dan Lovett, and Dan and I go back many years. In fact, he started in 1971 as KTRH's sportscaster at that time, along with Ron Franklin and all those guys, and we've all become very good friends over the years, as I have with many people in the community. I want to thank you all for something that Terry brought up earlier, the Love You Blue years. They were very special. I mean, you people made that team a very special group of men and a very appreciative group of men. When I first came here from Sonora, California, population about 1,300 people, and I was the #1 draft choice and recognized by everybody in this town. I was always kind of a shy kid, but the city of Houston welcomed me in, and I appreciate that. And it's been something that's very dear to me. In fact, this next Tuesday, I'm being honored on the floor of the state Congress as an honorary Texan. So I'm now officially a Texan after all these years. You know, something that sports has done for me, I played baseball and football. In fact, I went to Santa Clara University on a baseball scholarship, and athletics has taken me all over the world. When I was a freshman in college, the summer of my freshman year, I went to play for the Alaska Gold Panthers, which is a semi-pro baseball team in Fairbanks, Alaska for the summer. And I worked for Standard Oil Company up there, making about $9 an hour. And then we'd play baseball at night for the local town people. And then at the end of the summer, we were able to go over to Japan and tour over there and play all-star teams. And it was quite an awakening. Here I am, an 18-year-old kid, and I'm gone halfway across the world because of sports. So it's really opened my eyes to many benefits and many opportunities. And I'll never forget going over there and watching the Japanese warm up. They would take, you know, the pitchers and catchers would start playing catch about 5 feet apart, and then they'd eventually back up. First of all, they did all this stretching. And then they'd back up and warm up, and the pitcher would go out and pitch his game, and then by the time when they pulled him out of the game, he went right over to the bullpen, started throwing as hard as he could until they got back down to that 5 feet away, and then they started doing their stretching again. So they took as much time warming up as they did warming down. I learned something there, and in the early years, in 1971, 72, and 73, I was drafted, by the way, in 1968 by the New York Mets. They drafted a couple other guys by the name of Nolan Ryan and Tom Seaver. I don't know whatever happened to those gentlemen, but they wanted to make me a pitcher. And after my third year in 1973, after our second back-to-back 1-13 seasons and about 80 sack seasons, I'd seriously given some thought to going back and playing baseball. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I stuck in there, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to play with such great people like Bum Phillips and Earl Campbell and Carl Mock and Mike Renfro and Billy White Shoes Johnson and Mike Barber and Rich Castor and all those guys. And something that I learned years ago from my coach in college at Santa Clara University, and it's so very true, and I'm sure you will all agree with me, those of you that have played organized sports at any level at any time. My coach, first thing he said out of his mouth, Pat Malley, we're all welcome there, and he says, gentlemen, he said, I want you to look around the room. I want you to look at the faces of each one of these men you're about to go to war with. And he said, you will remember these faces for the rest of your life. And it's so very true. Throughout my whole career, I've had constant contact with my high school teammates, my college teammates, and to this day, I have that blessing to have that communication and that friendship. And that's something that can never be taken away. The memory of you will fade, It has to. But then people keep reminding you of days gone by, and that's very special. The thing that's really pleasing to me, that when people come up to me and they reminisce about the Love You Blue, and I get it daily, it keeps me young, and I can see it keeps them young, because it was Camelot, it was Shangri-La, it was the best times of my life. And there are people in this room that were probably there when we came back in 1978 after losing the championship game to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then again in 1979. And they were in the stadium. And the first year they had about 55,000 people in the stadium. The second year, it was like ants on a sugar cube. You couldn't find a seat in the house. You couldn't find a seat on the stadium floor. But what you didn't see, what we saw, were the people that were in the airport. And they marched us through the airport, and people were 10 deep, and they just had an alleyway about this wide for us to walk through. And then out on the buses in front of the terminal, all the way down JFK Boulevard, people were in the median. They were on both sides of the road. They were flashing their lights. They were honking their horns all the way down the Beltway, all the way down 45, all the way to the Astrodome. There wasn't one car going in either direction except our motorcade. There had to be over 250, 300,000 people. Practically all of Houston was out there that night. I'll never forget that as long as I live. It was the most rewarding thing any man could expect, in his career. And when I want to congratulate the inductees tonight, and also the scholarship award winners. Be very grateful that people remember you, because it's a very endearing moment. And one that, I'm blessed that I get every day because of Love You Blue and the guys that I played with. And you people made it special. I wasn't tough. I was not a tough man. I'm like my mother. I could cry over a good story or a good steak, but I was just afraid of losing my job. And I didn't want that to be taken away, because I was blessed to be able to play professional sports, and especially in a town of the greatness and the people, the great people in Houston, Texas. And for that I'm very grateful. One parting thought that I'd like to share with you all, if you would, with me. After every little bit of a talk that I ever give, I always like to look around the room, because I know they're in here. Would those of you that have either served in the armed forces, are currently serving in the armed forces, or have loved ones serving in the armed forces, would you please stand up, and would you all give them a big round of applause? These are the heroes. These are the true heroes. These are my heroes. And whenever I see a man or a woman in uniform at the airport or walking down the street, I take the time to go over and shake their hand and thank them for their courage and the blessings they allow me to live freely in this country, in this great country of ours. I want to thank you all for letting me come here tonight. I'm looking forward to meeting all the recipients and the scholarship winners and the inductees. And that I will turn over to Terry. Where do I go from here? Oh, I got to sit down. So anyway, thank you all for Love You Blue. God bless you all, and thank you for having me here tonight.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Kirk Lewis, Superintendent of Schools.
Dan, now that you've sat down, we need you to come forward again. We have a plaque for you as our guest tonight, and wanted to make sure you receive this from us. And so there you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's a replica of what we put in our Hall of Fame, and we wanted you to have it as a special token for our presence tonight. Thank you so much. It's always a special night when we get a chance to honor some people who have been have achieved some remarkable things over the years. But just some personal reflections. I grew up in West Texas, and on Saturday evenings we would listen to the Texas Tech ball games, and I can remember Bob Allen playing ball. Tech was a place I eventually went to school, and it was very dear to our family We just would sit around the radio if they weren't on TV on a Saturday someday, and we would sit around that radio and listen to the game, and I would agonize with every tackle and celebrate every touchdown. And so I do remember Bob from those days. I also remember from my college experience the heartbreak of seeing Jimmy Johnson beat Tech, and almost single-handedly one year. I remember that, and that was a painful experience. And so while I'm really excited about you being in our Hall of Fame, it really hurts me in some ways that's happening. And then growing up in West Texas, you just didn't get an opportunity to be a Houston Oilers fan. The only team that you would ever see on TV were the Cowboys. And so I grew up being a Cowboy fan. And Dan, I won't call you the names that I used to call you back then, because it was tough watching him play and beat the Cowboys on those occasions. And I grew tired of hearing Love You Blues song and Houston Oilers #1. But I survived it, and as I moved down here, they've become kind of a part of our life now, and also, so we're glad to have you here and be a part of this. Recognizing people who have succeeded like you folks have is kind of a great moment for us, because we have a lot of students, young people here, and we believe strongly in our district that academics come first. We want our kids to be successful in whatever field of endeavor they choose, but we also know that kids come to school, they participate, they engage themselves in schools when they are involved in athletics or fine arts and some other activities that really matter to them. And so our student athletes also make us very, very proud. And when they see people from their school who have established a legacy of success and achievement on the athletic field or in the music field or whatever field that we are honoring that particular evening, it serves as an encouragement and a motivation to them to just achieve great things. And as we have began developing the various Hall of Fames across our district, the Alumni Hall of Fames that we have at some of our campuses now, as well as the Athletic Hall of Fame, you can hear students talking about, I'm going to be there one day. I'm going to be on that wall, or I'm going to get a plaque like that. And they knuckle down and they study harder, they practice harder, they play harder. It just becomes more and more important to them because they have somebody that they can look up to. And so I do appreciate the fact that you achieved so much athletically in your careers, and we honor you tonight for that. But you also wouldn't be here tonight if you achieved great things athletically and just did not get it done morally and ethically and career-wise and in your business. And so you've been chosen because you are a great example for our kids, not just in the way you performed on the field or on the court or on the track, but the way you live your life today. And that means probably more to us in the long run than anything that you achieved athletically. We are excited to have you here, and we're excited there are so many people in the community that are supporting this. And I just thank you very much, all of you who are out there, for your continued support for our students, our schools, our teachers, all those who work to better the futures of our children and young people throughout every year. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here tonight.
Tonight, the Hall of Fame Committee will award 2 outstanding and very deserving student athletes, each with a $1,500 scholarship. All right, our first recipient tonight is Tyler Wolf. Tyler, would you come forward? Tyler is Adobe High School letterman in football, baseball, and powerlifting. Tyler has been involved in Future Farmers of America, Student Council, and other community service projects during his 4 years of high school. Our next scholarship recipient is Miss Samantha Lang. Samantha, would you come forward? Samantha Lang is a Sam Rayburn High School letterman in volleyball and golf. She has been named second team All-District for 2 years in volleyball, academic All-District, and academic All-State. She will be competing in the regional golf tournament next week. Samantha is involved in numerous student organizations at Sam Rayburn, including Future Farmers of America, National Honor Society, the French Club, and she has held the office of Vice President for the class of 2013 for the last 2 years.
At this time, we're going to welcome the newest inductees into the Pasadena ISD Athletic Hall of Fame.
Our first recipient is John Bryan. John Bryan, coach, track and cross country, Frank Dobie High School.
History teachers aren't necessarily supposed to make history, but such isn't the case with John Bryan. His coaching achievements qualify him as one of the great track and field generals in Texas over the last 2 generations. An acclaimed American history teacher for much of his 38-year career in education, Bryan helped put Dobie on the Texas athletic map by guiding the Longhorns to the state championship in cross country in 1980 and to the state track title the following year. A member of Dobie's first coaching staff in 1968, Bryan left the Pasadena ISD after the 80-81 school year, headed for LaPorte, then Clear Lake, where he continued to produce cross-country and track standouts over the next 16 years. A Pasadena native, Bryan played football and ran track for Pasadena High School, graduating in 1959. He contributed to the Eagles' march to the state championship game in football in 1958, the longest postseason effort by any Pasadena ISD football squad. After coaching at Queens Intermediate and Pasadena High, he joined Sam Saylor's Dobie staff and methodically groomed outstanding track and cross-country programs. In the 1980s, he molded 2 state track champions, John Robinson, who set a state record in the 1,600 meters, and Gawain Guy, who won the 800 meters. That fall, Guy won the state cross-country title, carrying Dobie to top honors. In 1981, buoyed by Guy's stunning sprint to glory and by 2 national pace-setting relay teams, Bryan's Longhorns won the coveted state track championship. Guy captured the state title in the 1,600 meters. The Dobie senior posted the nation's best time in the 1,600 meters that year, as did Bryan's 3,200 meter relay team and his distance medley squad. In all, Bryan collected 12 district and 4 regional titles in cross country, in addition to his state championship with the Longhorns. He produced 15 regional and 8 state meet qualifiers in cross country. In 1988, he was selected as recipient of the Texas High School Coaches Association Outstanding Achievement Award. He was inducted into the Gulf Coast Track Coaches Hall of Honor in 2001, and he becomes a member of our Hall of Honor. Coach Bryan.
Amanda Buffalo, Pasadena High School, class of 1985.
The goal for every track athlete is to be the first to break the tape. Amanda Buffalo was the first to shatter a barrier in 1985, just a few weeks before her graduation from Pasadena High. Buffalo won the 800 meters at the state track meet in Austin. In doing so, She became the first female athlete in Pasadena ISD history to win a state championship in any sport. In that same meet, Amanda finished third in the 1,600 meters after claiming titles in that event at the district and regional levels. In cross country, she earned a regional berth in each of her 4 high school seasons. She advanced to the state meet as a junior and again as a senior, when she took the regional crown and finished 4th at state. As a senior, she was named to the National High School Track All-American team. While at Pasadena High, she followed a running regimen that included 25 miles a week, and somehow she managed time to participate in Pasadena High School's United States Marine Corps Junior ROTC program. After graduation, she competed in the prestigious International Sports Exchange track meet held in Seoul, South Korea, winning the 800 meters and contributing to a victory in the 1,600-meter relay. She also took 7th in the 1,600 and qualified as a long jumper. Following her graduation, she was named the Outstanding Track Athlete in the Greater Houston area by the Houston Athletic Club. Buffalo continued her track career at Stephen F. Austin State University, where she set several school records and pocketed 4 Gulf Star Conference titles. She claimed conference crowns in the 10,000 meters, the 1,500 meter, the triple jump, and another in cross country. She finished 11th at the NCAA regional meet. She was named the Outstanding Track Athlete in the Gulf Star Conference in 1986. And Amanda now joins the Pasadena ISD Hall of Athletic Fame.
Gawain Guy, J. Frank Dobie High School, class of 1981.
In the 2 decades that followed Burt Cohn's total domination of the state meet in 1957, Pasadena ISD track teams remained as strong as any in the region. But no individual over that period came close to rivaling Cohn's record for seemingly superhuman track achievements at Pasadena High. That is, until Dobie's Gawain Guy dashed onto the scene in the late 1970s. A native of Jamaica, Guy won 2 state track championships in separate years and in separate events. As a senior, he captured the state cross-country title. He went on to break records and earn All-American honors at Rice University, and he realized his dream of competing in the Olympics when he ran for Jamaica in the 1984 Summer Olympic Games in Los Angeles. Guy first appeared on the radar of area runners when he finished 3rd at the state cross-country meet in the fall of his sophomore year. He finished 5th as a junior before leading the pack his senior year. As a junior, he won the 800 meters at the state track meet. As a senior, he doubled the distance, established himself as one of the premier milers in the nation, and led Dobie to the 1981 state track title. Coached by fellow Hall of Fame inductee John Bryan, Guy won the state 1,600 meters and followed with that championship at 2 of the nation's most prestigious meets, the Golden West High School Invitational and the International Prep Invitational. He clocked the fastest mile in the nation in 1981, 4 minutes, 7.25 seconds, and was ranked as the #1 miler in the country by Track and Field News. He anchored Dobie's 4x800 relay team, which produced the best time in the nation in 1981, And he ran on Adobe Distance Medley Squad that also posted the nation's top time. Guy's career at Rice was equally rewarding in both indoor and outdoor competition. He earned All-American honors indoors by winning the NCAA title in the 1,000 meters. After taking a year off to compete in the Olympics, he repeated his 1,000 meters championship in 1986. Outdoors, he won the Southwest Conference 880 title in 1985. One of Guy's greatest thrills came in 1984 when he became a citizen of the United States. In 1998, he was inducted into the Rice Athletics Hall of Honor, and it is our pleasure to welcome him to the Pasadena ISD Hall of Honor.
Jimmy Johnson, Sam Rayburn High School, class of 1976.
Probably the most well-rounded athlete in Sam Rayburn High School history, Jimmy Johnson displayed skills on the baseball diamond and on the football field that caught the attention of both the Houston Astros and the Texas Longhorns. Johnson chose to take his talents to UT, where he played on the final Longhorn team coached by Darrell Royal, then helped Earl Campbell win the Heisman Trophy in 1977. Johnson first gained local notoriety in the summer of '73 when he helped lead Pasadena's Colt All-Star team to the Colt World Series title in Lafayette, Indiana. As a Sam Rayburn sophomore the following fall, Johnson began a career that earned him 3 varsity letters in both football and baseball, as well as 2 letters in track. I just see his letter jacket. He was named to the All-Greater Houston team in baseball both his junior and senior years. The Astros drafted him as an outfielder in the 16th round immediately following his senior season. Johnson's senior exploits in football enabled him to realize his dream of playing for UT. After earning second-team All-District honors his junior year, he blossomed on the gridiron as a senior, winning a berth on the All-Greater Houston squad and laurels as the outstanding running back in District 23-4A. A backup to Campbell as a UT freshman, Johnson rushed for 272 yards, logged a 5.7 average, and scored 3 touchdowns, all against Texas Tech. One was a 60-yard romp to open the second half. He became the first Longhorn freshman to score 3 TDs in one contest. Johnson played football and baseball as a freshman at UT, but Royal's retirement led to the hiring of Fred Akers, who asked Johnson to focus on football. The 1977 season turned into a dream season for Akers and the Longhorns. Campbell won the Heisman, and UT went unbeaten through the regular season. Johnson started 3 games as Campbell's fullback, rushed for 158 yards, and scored 2 TDs. He wrapped up his college football career with an appearance in the Cotton Bowl, where Joe Montana and Notre Dame ended UT's national title hopes. Johnson finished his Longhorn career with 430 rushing yards, a stout 5.1 average, and 5 TDs. Our newest inductee in the Hall of Fame.
Fritz Conley, Pasadena High School, class of 1976.
Known as Fritzy to everyone except kids who kept his baseball cards in their back pocket, Fritz Conley produced one of the most memorable careers in Baylor baseball history. He tore up the minor leagues with his booming bat and logged 58 major league games before hanging up his spikes. Just a year into his high school career, he helped bring recognition to his hometown by contributing to the Pasadena Colt All-Stars run to the 1973 Colt World Series. Conley finally lettered 4 years in both baseball and basketball at Pasadena High and earned all-district honors in both sports as a junior. He repeated his dual all-district honors as a senior and was also named second team All-State in both sports. As a sophomore, he helped the Eagles reach the state semifinals in baseball. His basketball skills earned him an AAU semifinals, an all-star status the summer after his graduation. Conley lettered 4 years at Baylor and helped the Bears, the baseball team, record all kinds of new records. He set new school career home run mark with 38 homers, 156 RBIs, and was named first team All-Southwest Conference in each of his 4 seasons. As Baylor's third baseman and cleanup hitter, he hit over 300 every season and produced a slugging percentage of .697, still good for the number 4 spot on Baylor's all-time list. Moreover, he helped lead Baylor to the College World Series in 1977 and again in '78, the first 2 trips to Omaha in the school's history. En route to that CWS in 1978, Conley was named the most valuable player of the NCAA South Central Regional. In '79, he was named the Bears' most valuable player. Drafted in the 7th round by the Chicago Cubs, Conley embarked on an impressive minor league career. In 5 seasons in the minors, he never batted lower than .288. Over those 5 seasons, he belted 92 homers, knocked in 375 runs. Over his last 3 seasons, he hit 92 homers and drove in 375 runs. He played 8 games with the Cubs in 1983 and 50 with the Orioles in 1985. Although he hit only 3 big league homers, his first 2 were especially memorable. Both were grand slams. Conley was elected to the Baylor Athletics Hall of Fame in 1996, and it is our pleasure to welcome him to the Pasadena ISD Hall of Fame.
Bob Allen, South Houston High School, class of 1965.
Rarely does the world of sports produce a sidelines to headlines story as compelling as that of South Houston's Bobby Allen. A reserve player at the start of his senior season, Allen would transform himself in 4 short years into an all-state talent and then into one of the most respected receivers in the Southwest Conference. Undersized and thoroughly unknown as a Trojan underclassman, Allen played sub-varsity football until his senior year. That fall, he reported with more weight on his frame and a slamming desire inside to prove himself. Then in a game early in the 1964 season, the Trojan starting halfback, Tommy McElhenney, went out with an injury. Coach Harry Morgan scanned the bench in search of a replacement, spotted a jersey that matched the position, number 21, and waved the occupant into the game. Bobby Allen ran onto the field and straight into the lexicon of state football fans. He rushed for 1,084 yards on only 170 carries that season, finishing only 55 yards behind Spring Branch rushing star Chris Gilbert, who went on to earn an All-American fame with the Texas Longhorns. Allen's best game came in a 72-31 South Houston rout of Aldine. He rushed for 174 yards on only 9 carries, scored 4 touchdowns, 3 on long yardage cross-country runs. The Trojans later lost to Spring Branch in a showdown for the district title, but still, head-to-head, Allen outgained Gilbert 84 yards to 47 yards. Allen led the district in kickoff returns with 291 yards on only 8 runbacks, an average of 36.4 yards per return. Nearly unstoppable behind the line of scrimmage, Allen totaled only 12 lost yards for the entire season. Recruited by nearly 4 dozen schools, he signed to play for J.T. King at Texas Tech. Moved to wide receiver, he led the Red Raiders in receiving during the '68 season with 35 catches for 546 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now a highly successful businessman, Allen has proven and provided thousands of dollars in financial support in recent years to South Houston High School Trojan football. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Bobby Allen.
Randy Curbo, Pasadena High School, class of 1959.
The quarterback of the only Pasadena ISD football team to play in a state championship game, Randy Curbo went on to star for the last of Jess Neely's Rice University Bowl teams. As a professional, he played wide receiver for the Houston Oilers of the old AFL and quarterback for the Edmonton Eskimos in the Canadian Football League. As a senior at Pasadena High, he was considered the best quarterback in the Houston area. An elusive runner and a productive passer, he was a unanimous all-district selection and the most valuable player in District 12 4A. He earned All-State honors, was named High School All-American by Teen Magazine. Moreover, he led the Eagles to their first district title in 12 years and engineered his team's drive to the 1958 state title game where the Eagles fell to Wichita Falls. Curbo signed to play football for Neely's Owls, a Southwestern Conference juggernaut in the 1950s. He helped extend that streak of success by helping guide the Owls to a 7-3 regular season record as a sophomore in 1960 and a Sugar Bowl berth against Ole Miss. As a junior in 1961, he led Rice to another 7-3 regular season mark and a Blue Bonnet Bowl berth against Kansas. Although Kansas won, Curbo threw a touchdown pass to give the Owls an early lead. Rice failed to qualify for a bowl game during his senior year and didn't land a bowl spot for the next 45 years. Still, in '62, Randy Curbo threw 7 touchdown passes and was named All-Southwest Conference by the Dallas Morning News. He completed his college career with 1,343 yards passing, 11 touchdown passes, and 5 more TDs on the ground, while also serving in punting and place kicking capacities. Randy was picked to play in the North-South Shriner All-Star Game in Miami after his senior season and contributed to a South victory with a touchdown pass. Kerbel left Rice as a 3-year letterman in football and baseball. A free agent in 1963, Randy made the Oilers roster as a receiver and caught 5 passes. He found greater professional success in the CFL as a quarterback and a punter. In 1966, he led Edmonton to its first playoff berth in 9 years. We welcome Randy Kerbel.
Mickey Spencer, Pasadena High School, class of 1947, honored posthumously, represented tonight by his widow, Millie Spencer, Pasadena High School, class of 1947.
As the nation transitioned from global conflict to an uneasy peace in the post-World War II years, no Pasadena athlete represented the new rough and tumble age of high school football better than two-way lineman Mickey Spencer. With leather helmets a thing of the past, but the luxury of face masks still in the future, Spencer helped usher in an era of large suburban schools populated by the sons and daughters of gritty refinery workers and rugged war veterans. Spencer's arrival at Pasadena High in 1944 coincided with a generation of football glory for the Eagles. Over his 3-year varsity seasons, Pasadena compiled a 25-5-4 record, winning district championships all 3 seasons. As a senior in the fall of 1946, Spencer took part in the Eagles' jump to the big school 2A ranks and went through district play twice, tied but unbeaten in 6 games. He earned all-state honors for his outstanding play in 1946, the first athlete in Pasadena ISD history to be chosen. The city of Pasadena recognized the accomplishment with a day named in his honor. The president of his class and a true leader on campus, Spencer was awarded a football scholarship by legendary Texas A&M coach Homer Norton. He lettered for the Aggies from 48 to 50 under Harry Stitler. After 2 lean seasons, the Aggies finished 7-4 in 1950, with Spencer contributing 1 interception on defense. The 344 points scored by the Aggies in 1950 remained a school record for any A&M team until 1976. The Aggies that season beat Georgia 40-20 in the Presidential Cup, played in College Park, Maryland. The bowl game was the final contest of Spencer's football career. After his graduation in 1951, Spencer entered the Army as a first lieutenant and served 18 months overseas during the Korean War. In 1983, he married Millie Wilburn, a 1947 Pasadena High classmate. The two had reunited at a 35th class reunion just the year before. Mickey and Millie were married 27 years before Mickey's passing in 2010. And Millie, we are indeed honored to have you here tonight to accept this award.
know, they've been talking about doing a Hall of Fame for athletics here in Pasadena School District for years and years and years, and it just never got off the floor until our current athletic director, Rodney Chant, got the ball rolling several years ago. So, Rodney Chant, our athletic director.
Thank you, Terry. First off, congratulations to our class of 2013 Hall of Fame inductees. Your accomplishments, not only in school, but the class and integrity in which you have exhibited in life, can serve as an example of where we want our current Pasadena ISD athletes to be in years to come. Thank you to our Hall of Fame committee who once again put together a sensational banquet. The hard work you have put in once again is shown by tonight's results. Thank you to our school board, Dr. Lewis, associate superintendents, principals, for their support and upgrades of our facilities and in athletics in general. As Dr. Lewis said, our district believes that extracurricular activities as a whole are the greatest at-risk program that you can have. The lessons they learn through these activities, we feel will allow them to achieve their lifelong goals, whatever they might be. Once again, congratulations again to our class of 2013 inductees, and we thank you for being in attendance to tonight's banquet. We hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Terry?
Next year is going to be exciting too as we move back to Phillips Fieldhouse, and we'll be able to see the new permanent home of the Pasadena ISD Athletic Hall of Fame. At least once a month, I run into someone who tells me, you know, y'all should have inducted old so-and-so instead of so-and-so. But you know, that's part of it. But I want you to know that the induction committee has a list of about 50 to 60 athletes that we call no-brainers. Sooner or later, they're going to be walking down that red carpet. Some of them are sitting here right now. We want each induction banquet to be special, a special induction for those really, really special athletes. In a few years, we'll be probably starting to pare down the number of athletes that we induct, so there's always high quality at this banquet. And I want you all to know that we have some very special men and women coming up in future years. The induction committee is made up of former coaches, former athletes, and other sports reporting background, all representing a wide range of years connected to Pasadena ISD sports. We have friendly yet spirited meetings discussing the inductees named. We want each banquet tonight and 20 years later to be something very special to Pasadena ISD sports fans. We thank you for your support. We thank you for your help. We thank you for your patience. And we promise to you that we'll do our very best to make this night and each succeeding night and each succeeding banquet a night to remember for everyone. Thank you. Okay, now that we've unveiled this year's plaques, in the background, you see the plaques from last year. Last year, we had one of the athletes that was inducted give a speech representing the athletes. This year, Gwayne Guy will give a talk for the athletes. Gwayne?
Well, first of all, Terry now, there's Alan over there, and the whole committee, thank you guys for organizing such a great event. This is outstanding, so thank you. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of myself and 6 other athletes and one outstanding coach gathered here, thank you sincerely for this honor and privilege. Being inducted into the Pasadena Independent School District Hall of Fame is a tremendous distinction. We celebrate it with alumni pride and the sports achievements of our high schools and with personal appreciation for all the coaching, training, support, and encouragement we received on the way to our own individual accomplishments. I feel very fortunate to be part of this particular class, Hall of Fame class, the class of 2013. Our efforts span nearly half a century, from Mickey Spencer's football success in 1946 to Amanda Buffalo's 1985 state track championship. We also represent a wide spectrum of sports. Football for Mickey, Randy Kerbau, Bob Allen, and Jimmy Johnson. Baseball for Fritz Conley and Jimmy Johnson. Basketball for Mickey, Randy, Fritz, and Jimmy. And running for Amanda, John Bryan, and me. It's amazing that so many of these athletes took great strides in developing their talents in 2 or even 3 sports at once. A dedication that's rare today, as many high school athletes specialize early. So I admire and congratulate all my fellow inductees, especially my own coach at Dobie High School. John Bryan, very close to my heart, and to the center of my success 30-plus years ago in the Pasadena Independent School District. I will say more about John Bryan in a minute or two. The records and championships recognized here are great milestones in our lives, and we're honored and happy to be recognized for them. But we would not want to emphasize our achievements over the depth and gratitude and admiration we owe to our coaches, our families, friends and teammates, and to the school district who helped get us there. Wilt Chamberlain said, we generally make too much of winning. Let's face it, guys. Someone always has to win. That's the nature of competition. But the mere fact of winning doesn't make you great. And I agree. Winning and accolades that come with winning isn't really the end point. What's more important comes after your race is won or your goals are met. It's what you do with what you've learned, what you carry forward, and what you pass along to others. Athletes really are lucky and blessed. The lessons our sports teach us are profound metaphors for life. And we didn't just study them. We got to live them by our own sweat and perseverance, through the wisdom and encouragement of our coaches, over hours and years of daily practice, until they became second nature. High school sports taught us life skills, like how to master the fundamentals and prepare ourselves mentally and physically. We learn how to be a team player and how to take responsibility for our actions and our performance. We learn to stay the course through the tough times, deal graciously with defeat, and excel beyond our limits. As we carried these lessons with us on into college athletics and beyond, into business careers, into coaching, into raising children, and really in anything that life has thrown at us. Because of my training at Dobie High School, no one will ever outwork me in my business life. No one will ever have greater passion for the business at hand and the goals I've set in my work. This passion and work ethic was cultivated in me in high school and has become my attitude every day since. To give any less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. Steve Prefontaine said this about running, but I believe it's true of absolutely everything you do in life. Passion drives so many positive behaviors, and we have so many coaches and teachers here to thank for cultivating passion and a good work ethic in us. Of all the greatest lessons of my high school sports experience, the greatest was humility. Let me tell you a story. John Bryan, where are you? Please forgive me here a little bit. I told you I'd get back to Coach Bryan, and here we are. When I was a sophomore at Dobie, I was ranked fairly high in the state in the 800 meters. We had a tri-track meet coming up, just 3 schools, just 3. Not a big meet. A number of other good runners and I were also on a soccer team. And we had the opportunity to go to a soccer championship in San Antonio, Texas. We talked to Coach Bryan about the conflict. And here's what he said, and I've never forgotten this. Guys, in life there comes a time when you have to make a decision about what you want to do and make a commitment to it. If you want to be a soccer player, go and be the best soccer player. If you want to be a runner, go and be the best runner. Despite that talk, we decided to go to the soccer game instead of the meet. We thought we were so valuable in the track team that we could do what we wanted. Miss the meet, just come back and join right back in. We ended up third or fourth in the soccer championship. Then came back to school on Monday and went to track practice for a workout. At the gym, we found our bags were packed, our lockers cleared out. Coach was standing there, and he told us, "We'll see you next year if you want to run track." And that was that. We were off the team. Talk about humbling. What I learned from that was that even if I'm ranked high in the state, I am no more important than anyone else on the team. From that day on, I knew my place, not just on the track, but in life. What John Bryan taught me as a young man was not to be a showboat, not to thump my chest, but just do your best. Run my race, and use my talent humbly to show others how they might succeed themselves, all without boasting about it or making myself better than others. I wish every athlete, just once in their life, could have a coach like John Bryan. That lesson he taught me about humility is advice I give to everyone today, athlete or not. Because this works in business and in family and in all parts of life. Be successful. Create impressive results in whatever you do, but be humble in that success. Just walk the walk. Don't boast and rest on your achievements, but find even bigger goals to strive for next. So what should the 8 of us do with this Hall of Fame honor? Display this award on the mantle, satisfied with the memories, the statistics, and past achievements it represents, or use it to renew and invigorate our ongoing mission to spread the good lessons we've learned playing Pasadena ISD sports. We are honored today by this induction into the Hall of Fame, by the validation of our past, but we can do more. We can also use this gift to influence the future. We can use it to remind and recommit ourselves to encourage and challenge the people in our lives to be the best they can be, especially kids. In our roles as sports and life coaches, we can pass along the importance of both passion and humility to the next generation of Hall of Fame athletes and to the next generation, period. Sports have changed a lot since we played in high school. There's great pressure on kids to succeed, so much that some become burned out and give up even before they have grown and developed their talents. But we carry with us valuable insight of our experiences, of what we've learned. So this award reminds us to continue giving back by paying forward what we owe the great coaches and institutions who helped to form us. A famous English politician from the 1960s once wrote, "True merit, like a river, the deeper it is, the less noise it makes." I think this translates well into sports achievements and life in general. We thank the Pasadena Independent School District, our individual high school coaches and families for training us so deeply in humility, good sportsmanship, and preparation for life. In accepting this great honor, we recommit ourselves to spreading the good lessons we've learned. Thank you, guys.